What does Gary Gensler have to do with Bitcoin? Let's mine deep. First, who is the infamous 65-year-old man? He is currently the 33rd chair of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Previously, he was the chair of the U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, the CFTC, under President Obama, and worked for the Treasury from 1997 through 2001 under Clinton's presidency. So what is the SEC? The SEC is the Securities and Exchange Commission, which is in charge of making sure that the stock markets and that the businesses that operate within them are fair and honest. This is where Gary comes in. Gensler is the top member of the organization, and as the chair, appointed by Biden in 2021, he oversees the SEC's work, helps set its priorities, and plays a key role in decision-making for regulating the securities sector. Notably, under Gensler's leadership, the SEC has failed to approve numerous Bitcoin spot ETFs. The reality is that the SEC chair has gone from supporting technology when he was a professor at MIT to a full swing offensive on the crypto industry.
Fiat currency might not have anything inherently behind it.
Not only has the SEC sued Binance and Coinbase, accusing the exchanges of circumnavigating U.S. security laws, but has continuously denied all the Bitcoin ETF applications, saying applicants have not shown they can protect investors from market manipulation.
The SEC has rejected another round of attempts to have an ETF tied for it. This time, ETFs from ProShares, Granite Shares, and Direction on concern that prices could be vulnerable to manipulation. I mean, Bitcoin just can't get a break.
Today, Gensler looks like the crypto industry's worst enemy.
We don't need more digital currency. We already have digital currency. It's called the US dollar.
But Gensler wasn't always a hater towards crypto. Before he started in the SEC, he was teaching courses on digital currency at MIT and consulting with that school's digital currency initiative. He even co-wrote a 2018 paper that said blockchain technology has a real potential to be a catalyst for change in the world of finance, and wrote an article in 2019 for CoinDesk, which he said, and I quote, "I remain intrigued by Satoshi's innovations' potential to spur change either directly or indirectly as a catalyst." But now Gensler's approach to crypto is openly hostile, as he's arguing that the rules as to what is and isn't a security have been known and communicated to crypto fully.
Do you believe Bitcoin is not a security? Is that true?
I would say it's not a security.
He has caused a lot of friction between innovation and technology.
I mean, I wish the Biden administration would say you're fired.
U.S. capital markets are a gold medalist. You are the Tanya Harding of securities regulation because you are kneecapping the U.S. capital markets.
Why should you care? Because he is one of the most important regulators calling the shots to what cryptos are considered securities. For example, recently he called Algorand a security after literally shilling it himself when he was at MIT.
You could create Uber or Lyft on top of a blockchain technology today. Well, maybe in 5 years you could. It would have the performance. Sylvia McCally's Algorand, who's a Turing Award winner at MIT that I work with.
And hear this. Prior to his recent stint in public service, Gensler wanted to serve as an advisor to finance. And he even had a meeting with ZZ in March 2019 in Japan discussing the BNB token and Binance.us. What a hypocrite. So yeah, since Gary holds a significant position as the chair of the US SEC, he has the authority to influence regulations and policies related to financial markets, including the rapidly growing cryptocurrency sector. Decisions made under Gensler's leadership can affect you, financial institutions, investors, and all of the crypto space. Don't miss David Zell Backstage. When did Bitcoin click for you?
That's a good question. Middle school, sort of. But I would say it clicked for me in 2018, 2019.
What made you Bitcoin only?
What made me Bitcoin only? Well, I think that there are lots of interesting things about, digital assets, but Bitcoin is the only one that sort of matters to me on a sort of from the perspective of, honestly, its social value. Like, I think most other cryptocurrencies are, Ponzi schemes, scams on one end of the spectrum, and on the other, I mean, maybe generously we could say like ambitious pseudo equities. I mean, they're basically just unregistered securities, like issuing equity in the form of tokens. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. I've just yet to see many compelling use cases for blockchains outside of things like stable coins. I think that some of the technology around like automated market makers and like DeFi is pretty interesting. By and large, I wouldn't say I'm Bitcoin only, but I would say I spend most of my time focusing on Bitcoin and all of my sort of career, my work, advocating for Bitcoin, because it's the only thing I'm sort of confident in that's very good for the world.
And how do you picture the Lightning Network in the future?
Yeah, I think that one of the subtle, evils of the fiat system is that every time you swipe your card or tap your phone to pay, you've got sort of outlandish, transaction fees that you may not see as the consumer, but that are certainly being reflected in elevated prices when you buy things. So I think the Lightning Network's ability to slash fees, like orders of magnitude, is massive, not only for, small businesses and that stuff, but when you think about it, transaction fees are a sort of regressive tax. So the poorest and most vulnerable Americans are the ones that pay sort of indirectly a greater share of their income, buying goods and services that they need. So I'm bullish on the Lightning Network because in a world where, more payments in America are done with Lightning, it means Americans are saving money.
Here's a quick news recap of the week. For starters, the infamous SBF trial has officially begun.
So the jury has been selected in Sam Bankman-Fried's criminal trial.
Sam Bankman-Fried is officially a criminal defendant, staring down more than 100 years behind bars.
Sam Bankman-Fried faces 7 counts, including wire fraud and securities fraud related to the collapse of FTX. The trial is expected to last up to 6 weeks, in which they will interview anyone and everyone, including customers, employees, friends, family, you name it. And if convicted and sentenced to the maximum punishment, he would face the prospect of 110 years in prison. U.S. presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. had an interview with Mark Goodwin from Bitcoin Magazine, in which not only did he talk about how he became a Bitcoiner, but how he will end the current White House war on Bitcoin.
Current White House war on Bitcoin will be over, that transactions will be protected and encouraged, treating it as a currency rather than a commodity.
And hear this, he also said Bitcoin is a freedom currency.
Freedom of transaction is as important as freedom of speech.
On this October 1st, Ross Ulbrich, the Silk Road founder, marked a full decade into his double life sentence in prison. On October 4th, Stella Assange honored the day her husband, Julian Assange, created the infamous website WikiLeaks, the one that practiced freedom of press and would publish classified, censored, and restricted information for the public to see. In other news, America is beyond broke. The United States government added a staggering $275 billion worth of debt in the last 24 hours, a number that surpasses half of Bitcoin's entire market capitalization, which currently sits at $535 billion. And that's exactly why Elon Musk has declared fiat currency a scam. And it's official, Bitcoin mainstream integration is happening. Jennifer Aniston said so herself.
Will you grow Bitcoin?
Remember, keep stacking that Bitcoin stack.